Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Steven Johnson, and I'll tell you guys, the first segment is a perfect lead-in to what we're going to talk to you about now. We're going to talk about the controversies, not only the controversies of boxing, but how the favoritism in boxing happens. And it happens more than people can think. This one just happened to be on national TV pay-per-view, so everyone got a chance to see that. But Steve, it happens all the time, and it happens in local club fights, the small fights, medium fights, TV fights. And so this is a good opportunity, now that it's fresh in people's mind, on how the undercard and some of the controversies that happen. Now, I'm not talking about fouls or low blows. I'm talking about how the officials, which are supposed to follow the rules and the guidelines of boxing, because that's why they're there, where they tend to ignore the rules to favor a fighter. Okay, let's just get right down to it, and that's what happens. Now, Steve,
well, in this case, it was all magnified because last night for the WBA World Super Bantamweight title, you had Guillermo Rigondeaux from Cuba taking on Moises Flores from Mexico, both of them undefeated. A world title fight where you had, at the end of the first round, controversy erupted because the fight was stopped, and at first it was very clear to all of us watching the fight that the punch came after the bell had rung, which is, we all know, automatically DQ. We were like, wow, Rigondeaux suffers his first loss via DQ. Well, the powers that be at HBO there in the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they get together. And I don't know if you want to say to their credit or not, but Bob Bennett from the Nevada State Athletic Commission talked to Jim Lampley live during the controversy after the fight and said, we've all seen watched the end of the fight, and we determined that the punch came after the bell.
After the bell.
Jim Lampley was totally politically correct and said, basically, sir, total disrespect, but everyone here has watched the fight 3 times, the end of the fight.
Well, they were trying to say it was before the bell.
They were trying to say that it was before the bell.
Just so we clear that up, they were trying to say the punch came before the bell or at the bell. They were trying to justify what had just happened.
But really, the problem they had was that Drakovic, the referee, was mic'd for the fight. And we got to hear him go over to the corner, and he told some of the officials there, he said, it was an illegal punch. Rigondeaux had him hooked behind the head, which he did. He punched. They went to separate. Both men threw punches. The bell rang. Rigondeaux hit him.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was clearly DQ.
Exactly. So,
but then.
So I just want to make it clear: the controversy with this fight wasn't about the fight or the late hit. That was fact.
You're right.
That was fact. The controversy is our officials and how they try to bend, not how they try, how they do indeed bend the rules to get the outcome that they want, that they expect for the purposes of their TV or their network or whatever the case may be. But that should not be allowed. So if you're going to chastise, if you're going to reprimand fighters and stuff like suspensions and all this, as we all do, there has to be something done to these officials and networks and organizations, because boxing isn't dying. Boxing is thriving. The controversies are how the favoritism in boxing comes, and I'm going to leave it at that. Something has to be done.
Well, I got a little bit more to say in this because, like I said, this is a world title fight. The problem is that Bob Bennett from, like I said, Nevada, comes on air and says what they have decided. Lampley comes back and tells him that HBO let him see the tape, and we saw it clearly, and Bennett had to back off and say, well, after seeing that, I think you're probably right. No, you wasn't probably right. During this whole time, when you have this whole time that they took, about 5 minutes, where you still get it wrong, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And we had numerous things that are wrong with boxing and some of the people involved in boxing.
But let me correct you, it's not that they still get it wrong. It's just that they get caught. Okay, it's on tape, they get caught. But even still, after getting caught and admitting, okay, well, we saw the tape, nothing changed. Nothing changed. The outcome stood the same. I mean, in football, you got replay. In American football, you got replay. Okay, to make sure that the right calls are made. That's why you got the replay. Here, they get caught. And what they say, okay, well, you guys are right. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Well,
okay?
you know what?
So,
Speaking of, like you said, things that are wrong with boxing, whether you're going to agree with me or not, we got word earlier this week, earlier last week, I should say, that Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather Jr. are going to fight August the 26th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the T-Mobile Event Center. You called it our last show last week. You said the fight has to happen. I said that there's no way it has to happen and that it shouldn't happen. Well, the powers that be have decided that it should.
And I'll tell you what, I said it has to happen because money, financials, they're too big for it not to happen. Okay, everybody out there knows that it's a mismatch. I mean, anyone that tells you it's not a mismatch, I mean, obviously. In the last weeks when we talked about it, I said, okay, Gregor, if he does some things right, he'll have a chance. If he goes and gets a bona fide boxing coach that can help him in boxing to give him some, he'll have a chance, okay, and he will. But realistically, it's a mismatch. The fight's a mismatch. Here you've got one of the best fighters in the history of boxing, and he's going to fight someone that's never had a boxing match. Okay, it's a mismatch, but Money dictates. This is a big fight for the public. And I'm not talking about boxing fans that follow boxing. I'm talking about the public, okay? For each boxing fan out there that knows it's a farce and it's going to be a fiasco or whatever it is and says, I'm not going to pay that $90 for pay-per-view, you have 150, 200 general public people that are going to pay it. So in this case, the big HBOs, the Showtimes, whatever it's going to be, or the pay-per-views, they don't care if you and I don't buy the fight, okay? There's too many people out there that are going to buy this fight in the general public because they've taken a year of publicizing this. The general public wants to see this. They're going to pay for it, regardless if you pay your $99 or not. They don't care, okay? It's going to happen. It had to happen.
Put me on the side of not. I'm not going to pay to see it. I will watch it somewhere for free because it'll be everywhere. My favorite place, Twin Peaks, they'll have it, and I'll go over and watch it there. But I wouldn't pay for it because, like you said, we know what's going to happen, and we know that what Floyd does. See, and this is where Floyd's a hypocrite. He tells his fighters, where a few months ago there was a big hubbub about his fighters saying, "Hey, how come we can't get the paydays you do?" And Floyd was like, "Oh, you haven't paid your dues." So now he rubs it in their nose. I paid my dues, and look what I still get. I can get $100 million every time I fight. But you're going to take your $3,000 until you get up to my status. Nobody will never get to Floyd's
status.
You're going
to sell tickets
ever again. That's right.
You're going to fight.
So I have no respect for Floyd as far as his. Well, but wait a minute. As far as a business person, you'll give him that because because of his dad and his uncle and his family, he knows the business side of boxing. He learned it hard from Bob Arum before he broke off on his own, and he understands the money aspect of it. That doesn't have anything to do with the fact that me, a boxing person and a boxing fan, where he's just going to rape the public on it. It doesn't do anything good for the sport as far as I'm concerned. It'll draw attention to the MMA and to kind of because those folks now, they're going to start building up and saying, hey, we got to get a guy to knock off some of these boxers. That might be good and it might not be good. But for the people that come up and say, oh, this is just a great thing and Conor McGregor is going to knock Floyd out. Good.
Well, you're going to hear that.
Good. Well, of course.
You're going to hear that from the general public. You're going to hear that from the general public.
Well, I say, well, good luck with that.
And you're going to hear that from a lot of the MMA fans, and they're all going to buy the fight.
Let me say this, Reno, and then I'm going to let you take it, for the last few seconds. Conor McGregor has been very effective in MMA by using his kicks, his strength to set up his punches. Okay?
Yes.
Using 4-ounce gloves. Now he's going to be using 10-ounce gloves, and he can't kick.
10,
There's
8 ounce.
I heard it was 10.
Well, that's another favor for
That's
Floyd.
right. So what I'm saying
there's another thing on the rules.
No.
The rules say 8 ounce for 147 and under.
Well, hold on. Let me like I said, let me say this. Everything that all of this was about Floyd. When Dana White, announced that the fight was happening, well, he confirmed what Floyd had said via, social media. He said, Mayweather Promotions will control the undercard. There's all you have to know. Floyd is going to, once again, he's going to promote his fighters on here.
And I'm going to tell you
and
what.
we're going to see how that all pans out. But as far as I'm concerned,
get ready for more favoritism, because I'm going to tell you.
Oh, yeah,
Floyd,
his boys are going to win.
Floyd fighters, they can't win. They're not.
Well, that's right.
You know, the whole thing about he just had that thing. His fighters win on paper, but if you look at the fight, they don't win on the fight. Okay, it's just always, it's been that way, and it may change or it may not. But what I'm saying now, here's another thing where Floyd comes in. If indeed what you're saying is true, and they decided 10-ounce glove, well, that's another bend of the rules. Okay, bending of the rules.
Well, even if they make it 8-ounce gloves, I'm just saying that Floyd, every advantage is to him, which he does. He dictates everything in every fight he had, and Dana White and Conor McGregor have basically said, do whatever you want to do. We want the money. That's all they're going to do is get the money. So. And
that's like you said. Okay, Floyd's a businessman. He can get that kind of money. Well, same thing with McConnor. Who in their right mind would ever have thought that you can come in and make your professional debut in boxing and make $50-60 million?
Radio, that's my whole point, man. It's a slap in the face to boxers.
Well, no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't set right on boxers, okay? But you know what I'm saying is the general public is going to pay for this fight, okay? The general public is going to pay for this fight. The MMA fighters are going to pay for this fight, and you're going to get some of the boxers to pay for this fight. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to watch it, okay? And the only reason I'm not going to pay for it is because I'll probably be there. Okay, so I'm not only paying the $99 for the pay-per-view, I'm paying the travel, the hotel, everything else, because I want to be at this fight.
Well, then you're supporting this nonsense if you pay.
It's not nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's pure nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
Well, you know, if you're going to have something like that, why didn't you have next fight? Let's have Floyd fight the best hockey player that's known to be a good fighter. Why don't you have Floyd fight him next?
Well, I'll tell you what, that would probably make a lot of money too. You haven't
if you
haven't fight a high-profile hockey player, you know, there again, the general public is going to come and watch that fight.
It makes a charade of boxing, and like
I mean, it's a different entertainment. It's a different promotion. I'll grant you that. It's not like the Canelo and Triple G. Okay, that fight. That's what you might call real boxing, okay?
Might?
Yeah, okay.
You might call that real boxing. That is. It's
real boxing.
The best considered in a weight category. It's two of those best.
And this McGregor and Floyd, or if a hockey player or someone came in, that's not real boxing, but it's still revenue generating events, okay? And unfortunately, we as boxing people, we as boxing gurus, we have to be able to stop criticizing everything that doesn't go according to the way we think.
No, I'm going to be criticized, and like I said, I'll watch it because I'll be able to see it free, but I'm not going to pay anything. I sure wouldn't go there and support it.
See, now you sound like De La Hoya. Boycott this.
No, I didn't say boycott.
But De La Hoya don't have to say boycott it, because most of your strong, like yourself, boxing fans aren't going to pay to see it. Okay,
exactly.
So he doesn't have to call for a boycott.
Oscar De La Hoya was a hater. He knows damn good and well, as a promoter, if they would have came to him with it, he would have promoted it.
He would have promoted it in a minute.
Yeah, we know that. So I'm just saying, though, as I'm looking at purely as a boxing fan,
but if you
I will not pay for it. I'll watch it because I'll see it for free, but I will not pay for it. I won't support it.
Talk on the street. Mm-hmm. You talk on the street. People out there, just people that don't follow boxing, that don't watch boxing religiously like we do.
Oh, they probably can't wait to see it.
They talking about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. I mean, that's what you do when you promote an event that's going to be a revenue generate. Look at the revenue this is going to generate. This may topple a real fight like Oscar De La Hoya and Mayweather, or it might, and it's. We may not like it as boxing fans, but we have to be able to separate it. It's not a real boxing match.
Well, I'm hoping that, you know, one of the things I heard last night, and I hadn't even thought about it, and I can honestly say I hadn't thought about it, but I hope at some point something isn't said from, you know, the Conor side where it allows Floyd to get into his thing and talk about black-white, okay? Because that's another underlying thing in the background. Yeah. This is the black boxer who's one of the all-time greats against this white Irish kid who was younger and stepping up to the plate to go get him. Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
But
it's the way of the world. It's the way of the world.
It is the way of the world. And one thing I like about this fight, it's entertainment and it's a good thing. But the thing I like, it's not like Muhammad Ali when he fought the karate guy, okay, which was truly a joke, because for you guys, you're not old enough to remember this, but the karate guy, I forget his name, he came in and first thing he did was throw a kick, fall to the ground, and he started kicking up. Okay, it was a WWF thing. Okay, Conor McGregor is going to come to fight. He's not going to have the talent. He's not going to have the skills as far as the boxing side. But him and his Irish blood and the people that support it, he will come to fight. So chances are Floyd gonna knock him out. But
chances are.
But he's gonna go down on his feet, or he's gonna catch that lucky punch and he's gonna make Floyd going into his defensive mode. Okay, but either way, they're going to fight. Conor's not coming in just to. I hope not. Okay, it's my prediction. It's my prediction. Okay, that he's going to come.
You're going to talk
that
yourself
he's going to come to fight. But okay, but you're right. I'm going to stop there.
Because Floyd hasn't knocked anybody out in a while. But this is going to be his first knockout. He's going to knock this boy out because he just.
Well, no, he did Ricky Hatton good.
I said it's been his first knockout in a while. He hasn't had a knockout in a while.
No, he hasn't.
So I'm just saying that it's.
Okay, but anyhow, let's leave that and
we'll get ready for our third segment.
Cut that one. We'll come back in our third segment.
We'll wrap things up.
Finish up this week and Floyd.
Go ahead. Have fun.
Okay. Yeah. Steve. Till next time. Keep your hands up.
Tickling itself.